And
well, like when you say that, it's like when we have to talk about it when he got in the top 10. He got to number 1, and then thanks to that, what's his name? Is it Kanye West? Like,
never heard of him.
You know what I mean? Mate, this is like, I don't recall or remember before Joshua's. Yes, other people would be like in the comment, yeah, there was people that got to number 1 on iTunes first and blah, blah. I don't remember many 16-year-old to 18-year-olds going number 1 in the iTunes chart the same week as Kanye West drops his album.
And I don't really care who else has got to number 1. I cared that Joshua got to number 1. And I cared not because he was number 1. I cared that this was a little boy in my eyes that a lot of people didn't see what I saw. And that was, he was the little boy in class that was never invited to parties. He was never invited to people's houses. He was rejected because of his behaviour. Because of all the stuff that was going on, he was pushed out of society, pushed out of school. Nobody wanted Josh. And so all the ways that we tried to bring him back in and make him feel comfortable about who he was, not how people expected him to be, that was the biggest confirmation that you are such a special person, Josh. You are such a special little boy, and every bit of success that comes your way is because you deserve it. And it reconfirmed that hard work pays off, and past trauma, past heartbreak won't stop you, will it, love? No, so that was more than a number one album.
Yeah.
And he was dead 2 months later. So I am so grateful to everybody that gave him that gift.
No, definitely. It was just amazing, like, to watch. I can remember my friend had a blog, and I was saying, you have to blog Depson's mixtape. She's like, oh, why? Because I said so. Because he's sick. And she's like, oh. She blogged it, and it was like, oh, my God. Do you know what? Like, he's quite sick, isn't he? His music's really... And
do you know what I love, though? Sorry to interrupt. From my schoolwork, because I play One Love and other little bits, the amount of teachers, head teachers, 60-year-olds are at home. They Google One Love, and they all say to me 2 hours later, we were like watching a freestyle in Ibiza, and then we watch this, and I'm then thinking, oh no. And all these lyrics are popping in my head like Pringle lids and girls' laps and laps and heads, and I'm like, no. But that feeling of pride is the feeling that any parent wants for their child, and I still get that feeling in my heart that I'm so proud of him.
Trust me, you did an amazing job. You raised a gem. He is a gem. He's a national treasure for the, not even for the hood, for a lot of people. Not the hood, for a lot of people. Like how he is cemented in people's history and growth and all sorts. They can never forget, and they'll always remember and revert back to a situation, like I said, a freestyle, a picture, a summit, and it'd be like, no, that gonna be joke. No, he killed it. No, and it was all very natural. Funny. It weren't like the prepared, 4 o'clock, I need to post. No, it was just Josh being Josh. Like,
yeah, and that's exactly who it was. Just Josh. You know, Josh was Josh. Josh did music. Josh was Josh. Josh, you know, the ladies.
Yeah.
This, the that, the everything. You know, it was just the. We've got lots of stories there as well, but you know, I just used to watch him and just be like, all I want is for you to be happy, and if you're doing things that, you know, are negative and will impact you, then I have to stand up to you. But if you go in the right direction, and you know, like I said, for the last few months of his life, I just sat back and was just total in awe, and just used to be like, it's going to be all right now.
Yeah, that picture there, when he's like, oh, I'm going to go and cop me mum a mozzie. Yeah. When he fingered it, was like, oh, mate, go on, lad.
But that was his happiest day.
It was.
The last day on this earth was his happiest, which, again, he'd woken up and felt what it actually really meant to succeed and to be able to have your own money through working and to do what you want to do, which is to spoil those you love. Mm-hmm. And then go out with your friends, buy new clothes, pop champagne.
I remember he brought a young lad the GTA as well.
But that his heart, the reason he bought his friend that is because that young man had lost his mum, and it was Josh's way of helping him
Yes.
to be distracted. And I think he learnt that through, you know, everything that we've gone through. And nobody can criticise anything in my mind, because, you know, his heart and his soul were always in the right place. We just had to refocus the mouth and the brain, and then once we had got them all on the same page, we were on to a winner. You know, I was never deluded, or, you know, the fact that what came out of his mouth, at times I just literally wanted to crawl in a hole and just disappear on many occasions, but my job and my role was to make sure I stood by his side rather than ran off. So yeah, I was very lucky. I was lucky to have him.
No, I had anyone that had any interactions that met him, got to chill with him, they'll all be honest and say that they was lucky and feel privileged to be in and around him and be part of his journey, and have Josh be part of their journey.
Maybe not the ones that used to stand in front of him saying, "I don't like you, you are a prick." But the majority,
sorry,
98% would probably say the same.
Definitely. You know? And then it's like, if we move forward a bit to the amazing, wonderful woman that is Miss Alison Cope, as to what you are doing now in the schools. You could tell the people basically how you're smashing it and trying and helping to I want to say, like, it's like changing a cog in people's brain so that they are more aware of certain things and how to avoid a certain lifestyle, a certain culture, and not to carry a knife, sort of.
Yeah, there's so many things that come from it, and Josh is always my inspiration to get up every morning. And it could be I get up after sobbing all night, crying, lying in his bed, holding his ashes, traumatised, post-traumatic stress, all the things people don't see. I will get up and I will still go into schools, colleges, prisons, and share my son's story, because I think what we get wrong on a lot of occasions is to tell people what to do, and I'm not quite sure where in history we ever thought that worked. So I talk very much as if it's Josh were listening to me. So the first thing I do is generalise about youth violence and myths and stereotypes, social media, etc., etc. And then I start to talk about who is important to them, because the main factor for Joshua's behaviour changing was because he realised his choices were going to result in him losing me, either to prison or worse. And it was that, combined with the support, that made him see past, you know, reacting to a situation or getting involved in a situation. So what I try and do is make young people rethink who's in their life, because we don't always appreciate who we've got. We're a very ungrateful society. We want the trainers, we want the cars, we want this. But actually, we might already have what we want, what we need. Mum, dad, sisters, cousins, carer, etc., etc. And then I tell them about my little boy. And I don't tell them about Depson. I tell them about, you know, a 5-year-old trying to knock his friends out, a 5-year-old throwing chairs at his teacher, 5-year-old getting, you know...
Like was it rollerblading?
Rollerblading, skateboarding, wearing his flame shirt with his, you know, skater trainers and his little hat, and doing all the skateboarding stuff. And then first arrest at 10.
Wow.
Multiple convictions, dad in prison, assaulted by the police, set up by the police, went to a young offenders when he was 15 for a crime he didn't commit, but who got him out? Me.
Yeah.
6 weeks later, got him home, and he then realised I need to focus. But that's the story I share, and then I go into detail of how one choice can make your future, or it can destroy your entire life. And if you want to stab someone, if you want to sell drugs and you want to get into trouble, that's not a problem, because I'm not here. I can't tell you anything.
Yeah.
But if you're ready for your mum to organise your funeral, or you're ready for your little sister to cry when your coffin's been lowered into the ground, then you carry on. And then I talk in detail about what happened on that night, and say, if you think it only happens to gang members, black people, drug dealers, wake up. If you make the wrong choice in your life, regardless of your path, you can blow it.
Yeah.
I then talk in detail, and very to the point detail, of what actually happened on that night, what it meant to Josh, but also what it meant to the young man that's now serving a life sentence. And that might be hard for some people to hear, but it's equally important in my opinion, because how many people do we know in prison? Are they all evil? Are they all horrible? Probably not. But did they make a choice? And that choice has destroyed many, many people. So the more we invest into those young people, the less chance there'll be people like Josh.
No, definitely. And then, like, say for instance, how has it been getting, whether it's the police commission or the local council, your MP, how has it been communicating?
Really, really difficult. I think, again, as soon as you say to most people, oh, it's a youth project, it's about knife crime, a lot of people will be like, oh, another one.
Yeah.
Another knife crime project, because that's where we're getting it wrong, in my opinion. There are many projects, there are many campaigns, and very few have impact.
Yes.
So people are sick to death of them. You know, sick to death of hearing about it, sick to death of, you know, being told about these projects, and then you'll get the tokenistic, so tell me, I'm really sorry to hear about your son. Tragic. They couldn't care less. They'll just go and live their life, because they also hold that stigma. Well, I don't live in London and my child's not black, so obviously, you know. And I'm like, well, if it is black on black crime and only black families are affected, I think you might need to relook at the colour of my skin. Mm-hmm. It can affect anybody from any walk of life, from any background. And if we actually invested more money into the most impactful projects and they were consistent and longer, imagine what would happen. We would start to stabilise young people, scoop up those that desperately needed help, support the families that are struggling instead of judging them, and then before you know it, we will see less young people going to prison and being murdered. But it's not their problem.
No, it's true.
And my hope is that, you know, I think if I'd have chosen this as a job, I'd have probably given up a long, long time ago because of how hard it is. However, I'm not stopping this anytime soon.
There's no stopping, mate.
There's no stopping me with this.
This is like the boulder in the Indiana Jones film. Like, it's just mate. It's gonna just steamroll and keep going and going, because there's a lot.
I've had so many doors slammed in my face, and I just boot them down. So.
No, definitely. And then, like, for the future projects coming up, we have to do something. A joint collaboration, some form of campaign to help keep everything going. Like, say for instance, hold on a minute, the Joshua Ribeye Awards.
Well, emphasise to myself, it's the best thing ever. I was meeting a lot of young people who had been excluded from mainstream school. Yep. So straight away they have the stigma that Joshua had. They're not wanted, they've been thrown out of, you know, a mainstream environment. So they've got that stigma, and that stigma meant they couldn't go to their prom, they couldn't go to the, you know, the theme parks, they couldn't go to work experience. And however, a lot of these were doing well, but we're still stigmatising them. We're still telling them they're not worthy. And I thought, well, that's not all right. So I decided to get a little bit of Joshua's magic and sprinkle it on 20 winners a year, and they have a prom that will blow their friend's prom out the water. It is a red carpet, it is champagne reception, there's an awful lot of alcohol for the adults, there's lovely food, robots, fireworks, everything. And they come in insecure, scared, thinking, oh, what is this going to be? A youth event full of scary young people and feds. No, what it is, it's a celebration for you and to show you that you are wanted, you are important. I gave that to Josh, and I can't do that anymore. But I can take that little teeny part of Josh and just spread it all over these young people and tell them and make them feel and show them that there's a future for you regardless of what you've done in the past. And it was at that point, once Josh had got that, he then was able to become who he became. And that's what I want for them. And the next one is the 5th of February, 2022. Always need support, always need sponsorship.
Yes, yo, I'm there. Always, you know.
Always. You will always see me on social media saying, hello, and everyone going, can't see that tweet. I can't see this GoFundMe. It's disappeared as soon as I look at it. So it's really, really difficult. And for some unknown reason, that just makes me do it more.
Mate, keep at it. All I know is when I was there and I got to hear the different stories of different people, whether they've come and there was a bit in their shell, they didn't. At that night, when they are there, everybody is clapping and buzzing for their journey and their growth, and that is what is important, because this is helping to change people's.
And it's not dry, boring. Here's a certificate. Wow, you're really good. And in your head, you're thinking, I don't really care.
We actually talk. They talk about the person and some of their shortcomings before and now, how things are just flourishing, and they're like they come in as caterpillars and leave as butterflies. Honestly, really, it is amazing and it's sick, and I'll always help and try and do what I can for it.
My passion, my schoolwork. I've just hit the 500,000 young people. Not literally hit them. I've spoken to 500,000 young people now, and I'm so proud of that. Sick. 500,000 little loves, and the minute they walk in, bops in, kiss their teeth, look me up and down, I'm like, and we're off.
Yeah.
Because all I see is, oh, you like my son? Look how rude you are, and look at the attitude, and it just gives me that warmth. And they're the ones that I absolutely adore. Yeah,
it's like you just convert them. You just go there and convert them.
Well, I just show them. What young person, if you were to scoop up 1,000 13, 14-year-olds and say, this is prison, this is what it really means to you, mentally, physically, this is what it means to your nan, your mum, your brother, your sister, your carer. Do you want it? Do you fancy it? I'll give you 100 grand and we'll take you straight there. But your mum might die in prison when, but it's all right though, because you're on road and you're living life and everyone will think, nah, you're sick. Do you want it? Well, stop going on like you're bad if you're not then, because very few people want it, get it, and then are happy with it. And that's kind of what I try and show in a more, subtle way.
No, but that's that brash. Like, I can explain it. That's the thing what every other organisation and people cannot seem to harness or do what you do, because of where you've come from, because of what your experience is. Like, you are the... Don't get me wrong, there's loads of people that are doing good things and whatnot, but how I see you as how you have not stopped ever being afraid to say, call out, whatever. I love it, and it's just like it inspires me. It made me. I can remember years ago when I spoke to you and I said I hadn't done certain things because I didn't want to look like a money grabber, or I was doing it for the wrong reasons. And you said to me, "Oh my God, I thought you was different than that. I didn't think you'd give a fuck about what people think, Cheese." And it was like, do you know what? I don't give a fuck. Everyone else can fuck off. I'm here to help you, and I'm here for Josh. So
the judgment of other people can really make people stop doing what they believe in. Because if I was to actually stop talking about Josh, what I'm saying is I had a child that did every single thing they shouldn't have done. I had a child that offered me out for 2 years. I had a child that swore at me. I had a child that was enraged, in pain. And I'm there being as honest as I possibly can in the hope that young people get inspired by that. But other people will be like, oh, so she doesn't feel ashamed that this happened. No, I don't actually, because I'm proud of my son's entire life. And you have to look at it as a journey. And so I have never been afraid of other people's opinions, because I'll get them behind my back, to my face, snidely, sneakily. And I know they happen, because the problem is when you've got people that talk and talk, they will come and tell me what's being said, because these people have got big mouths. So it all comes back. And then, it can't stop me, because I have too many young people respond to Joshua's story. I just share his story. When I go into prisons, pupil referral units, colleges, primary school, senior school, they know about my Josh. And that, if I always have that feeling and always have that impact, I will continue until I actually physically or emotionally can't. But again, I'll probably be on a Zimmer frame.
Yeah, we'll sort something out. Get an electric one, and you can still deliver these. I can actually see that though. Yeah, Charles, we need to get you into the EU. Yeah, start spreading this worldwide, because honestly, what you do is amazing, and it's needed.
Because if I was to say to a lot of people, so firstly they'll look at me and think you don't know anything about anything, which I quite enjoy to change that mindset. But it's the stigma. If you were to write on a piece of paper, excluded at 8, first conviction at 10, 15 convictions, dad in prison, grime MC, mixed race, Birmingham. It's no wonder we got stabbed to death, is it? What do you expect? What does that mean? What does that actually mean though? I've had that on radio interviews, I've had that on TV interviews. Was your son in a gang? I'd be like, why would my son be in a gang? Well, just because of what? And I'm thinking, because grime, Birmingham, a bit brown, he must be in a gang. That's your problem, not mine. And you find that in many, many people's opinion of when someone gets stabbed, it's their own fault, you know.
No, I hear that. I think that it's just like you're helping to change like the new society. So if people 7, 8, 9 remember the lady that came in, like when I was in primary school, I remember a drugs awareness course and thinking, he can fuck off. I don't even know what drugs are. I just wasn't interested. Like I wasn't interested at all. Nah.
But I think we've seen, you know, like a lot of the politicians and the councils and crime commissioners, I think they've started to realise that some people haven't gone away. Their story has been consistent. Their story has an impact. And I always hope that this will be the change that's needed. And I think there's been new elections and they're starting to view it slightly differently, that they need to change their approach. You know, and if I've gone some way into making them see that, then fantastic. I just have to stick to my truth, and it will either fit in or it won't fit in, but it can't be any different. I can't become an ex-gang member and stand in front of kids when I was on road, because they'll look at me and be like, all right, look, but you weren't, were you? Or, you know, when I was in Penn, you lose young people's respect by chatting absolute waffle.
No, it's true.
So I can't change my truth. My truth is, this is who Josh was, this is who Josh is to me, this is my life, and this is the devastation of what happened to him. And that will always be my truth, regardless of where the funding is, where the policies are, and whether people want it to fit in or not. It is what it is.
No, definitely. If we move now into the future.
Yeah. So.
Talk to me. Future campaigns.
Wow. I can't talk about it in too much detail. However, over the last year, we're developing a project that hopefully will reach millions. It's not going to be your bog standard campaign. It's never ever been done, not just in the West Midlands, anywhere in the world before. It's going to be huge. And the point of this campaign is to make people feel and think, and then for all the other youth organisations and the people that don't always get it and assume it's a self-blaming thing, will start to realise that actually every single young person in this country is as important as the next one.
Yep.
So if you have a gang member or you have somebody that goes to private school, both are human, both are children, and we need to start changing what we're going to do. Just, you know, push these away because it's easier for us. We should be pulling these in closer and helping them, and it's hopefully to make those that don't get this whole problem and that make the policies, do the funding, to actually realise that this is real. It can touch people's lives and the true devastation of it. So that will be coming out by the end of the year, and, you know, I expect it to reach millions and millions of people.
No, definitely.
And then my awards night, and then I'm booked in schools and colleges and all over the country for the next months.
Yeah, a lot of work to do, but it's amazing work what you do, Alison. Honestly, it is amazing. It's inspirational, and I just think that thing can change in people's brain to how they react to certain situations. You're helping to spread that message. So if they can get that from the young age, even the older, at any age, you have an impact on people, and it's just amazing what you do, and I love it. I love it. Anything...
I mean, you probably see where I am all over, because I always tell everyone online, this place, and people go, oh my God, does she ever stop? I can't, you know, people need to know about Josh, and, you know, it does have an impact, as you said, and young people look at things slightly differently. We're not going to save everybody, it's not going to change everyone's world, but it will definitely make them think about things in a different way, and that thought process can be the beginning of change for those that have already started doing things that are dangerous.
Definitely. What else have we got, or what else have you got on the menu that you need? Well, is the iTunes link still up?
Yeah, Josh's album still selling. It's not selling as much as it was, but obviously that's because of time. It'll be 8 years next month since that's came out. You know, because I don't get funding and I don't get maybe as much support as people assume I do because of who Joshua was. So with the awards night, I'm always fundraising, looking for sponsors. The project I'm doing, I'm still looking for the last bit of funding for that. So again, if anybody, even if it's a raffle prize, even if it's a, you know, just a message of support, every single thing helps these things happen. You know, so if anyone's out there with lots and lots of money, they're more than welcome to pay for both things. Yeah. If not, you know, anything from the smallest thing, I'm grateful for anything because it all adds up.
Usual contributions to the kids at the award, to any and everything, you know, 100%.
Because I like them, you know, I love them to go away with something that is special for them. Like the trophy, it's actually Joshua's face carved out of a heart. And it's a beautiful object, and you see all the photographs after where it's on the mantelpiece or pride of place in the home. And, you know, award winners from previous years always reach out and say, that was the night that I realised that I was important. And it's, you know, so that's going to be February next year that happens. So any support is always appreciated for that.
Where can people find you on your socials?
So website is AlisonCope.com. And that will have a contact form and it will show all about the awards evening. Twitter, Ali_Cope. Instagram, I am not having Instagram. I'm not taking photographs of anything to do with myself in life. Joshua's got Instagram, but that's not what I have because it's hard enough with Facebook, Twitter. Because when Joshua passed away, I inherited a lot of his following. So, you know, I don't have many friends, but I have a lot of Joshua's fans that, you know. So I don't have Instagram, but I do have Twitter and, you know, a website.
Sick. Alison, I swear down, a massive thank you. Apologies for the start, mate. I was crumbling, mate. I was apple crumble, honest.
No, you've done well.
It's literally...
Could have been worse. I could have been talking in more detail about stuff and then really upset you, but I won't.
Mate, well, yeah, I was going to say you started already before the interview. Mate, you crumbled me, mate. I knew you was going to do that. Damn you.
I'm sorry.
But no, thank you. Seriously, I am so glad to sit down with you, and we will sit down again after the campaign. We'll just keep in usual contact, communication, and make this happen.
Always. Trust and again, you know, thanks to you, because when Josh was alive, he always, or you will see lots of photographs with Josh wearing the clothing, the hats, and he just loved it. I've got every single item you've ever given to Josh. It's in his bedroom, and it is iconic and represents who Joshua was. So thank you to you
the culture.
as well.
He represented something that I've watched for years. I've seen, to me, he's just like the rest of some of the big names. He's done exactly where I've seen him start from the bottom, earn, do good, be a good, like, he's done. That's what we are here to back and, like, support that thing, what he did. That's what literally cheese stands for. I love that shit, to see somebody come up through their talent, their craft, and just smash it. So, honest, I'll always support, because I say it, anytime, anything, it's like, well, what would I do if Josh was here? I'm going to respond to you like Josh's mum, so it's not here. I've got to respond. What if I went? How people respond to my mum? I hope they would show the respect and admiration like they would if I was here, because I know I'd have something to say about it. So I can only do what is right, and trust me, you got my full support, mate, all the fucking way. Trust me, honest. Oh shit. Yeah. I don't know how I outro. I don't outro, do I? Do I outro? No, it just fades to black. Don't like shaking the head like that. You just do the intro. Jesus.